Hello and welcome to season 10 of the worst movie ever made, an experimental
11.
movie No, I think it's 10.
Is it? Okay.
No, it's probably season 11. Hello and welcome to season 11 of the worst movie ever made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientist Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Apparently, season 11. This is Leonard Part 6. Why are we starting the season this way, for fuck's sake? Rob?
Uh, because the state of California repealed its statute of limitations laws when it comes to being a victim of aggravated sexual assault. So, because of this, the Bill Cosby catalog has been rendered for free across the board because nobody's paying for this shit anymore. And being that we are on a shoestring budget, it just seemed like the move to make. Bob?
So yesterday I ate dinner late and burned the roof of my mouth. And you know how that is, like, it really hurts. And then the next morning you wake up, you're like, fuck, it still hurts. It's a weird thing. That's Leonard Part 6 right there. Like,
Leonard Part 6
still
is
burns.
the flap.
I thought it would be over after I finished watching it, and it just stuck with me for at least a day more.
Yeah, it really is a pathetic piece of hot trash that burns the roof of your life and never leaves. Let's throw it to YouTube, see what they think about it.
Sure. And we have new bumpers all this season, and this one has too much reverb on it, I noticed when I was screening it. So here we go.
Can't wait.
That said, it's time to talk about our favorite movies, and then I can't control the voices, they control me. Going with the through line of mental illness on YouTube. I will dial back some of that reverb next week. I was on a bit of a time crunch.
I don't think you should.
All right. Nostalgic about 80s PG movies just not giving a F ampersand pound sign percent sign about their target audience. Why the hell is this not free? I know it sucks, but still, who would pay for that?
Fair.
I wonder what happened to Leonard's parts 1 through 5. This movie was so good. LMFAO, what is this? The car scene had me weak. And my personal favorite that I say for last, this may still be the worst atrocity that Bill Cosby ever committed.
Oh my god. That's offensive.
Yes.
So we'll place that in the test. All right, thanks, Rob. We'll throw it to test number 1 now, the worst of its kind.
I think you might have a really big load of grumpy, petrified poop up your soul's ass.
Which is the worst of its kind?
I like it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of these first few.
I screened your guys' bumpers for just to make sure they work, but I have not listened to any of them.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as they work. Yeah. Sweet. That'll be fun. Hickey and Boggs with Bill Cosby, 67. I don't know anything about it. He's got a lot of movies, by the way.
Yes, he does.
And allegations.
Old Gringo with Jane Fonda, 46.
Okay.
Another one I haven't seen. The Big Mouth with Jerry Lewis himself, a 40%.
I like Jerry Lewis.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you?
The Errand Boy, man, the freaking big band thing was like da 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 da. You know, that's pretty good.
All right, fair. Star Trek Into Darkness. I don't know why. Couldn't find shit. So Chris Pine, an 84%.
Okay.
And X-Men Days of Future Past, Hugh Jackman, a 90. Okay. I don't know. It's just what popped up, right? Average of 65.4. How did Leonard do?
I'm going to go down 20.
I'm going to say this is one of those films that just doesn't even have a critical score.
That's a good guess, but it actually does.
Okay.
It's a 7.
All right.
Oh, jeez. 7.
Negative 58.4 and worst of its kind, setting the mark very high for the new season, which is good because I think we had that last season as well. And it's only one test. You know, we try to be objective here. It's not all based on one test. So, negative 58.4, huge score. Let's throw it to test number 2. Ain't that a pitch? test number 2.
Oh, hi, Mark. This is the beginning of a scene. We talk about the movie, make the movie about the movie. In this case, The Room.
Ain't that a bitch? That was
Nice.
Tommy Wiseau himself.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't tell where Tommy Wiseau ends and James Franco begins.
I know,
Right,
seriously.
exactly.
But that was his pitch for a movie, I think. So here's mine. I'm going to go because I haven't gone first in a while,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is Leonard Part 6, starring Bill Cosby. An ex-special agent who is good at cooking starts a new restaurant with sturdy footing. But ladies, stay alert when you get dessert, because there may be a roofie in your Jello pudding.
Oh, do we all have the same theme? Because I'm going next.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Bob.
Awesome.
There once was a man named Bill who was goofy, who thought he could make an action comedy movie. Failure was certainly unavoidable. Now he's currently unemployable, though making this film was better choice than a roofie.
Oh, wow. God. 2 roofies. 2 for 2.
All right. All right. There once was a Jello Pudding man who was a secret agent that had a plan. His estranged wife he desired. His daughter's love life brought ire. If you see him with pills, run as fast as you can.
I don't know. I feel like it's a team win.
Team win. 5-star.
5-star, yeah.
We just write that down. That's going on the right. A 5-star team win.
Oh my God, we all went the same fucking place. Wow, what a start to the season.
Where else could you go?
I know.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
5-star team win. Beautiful. Okay, test number 3, the most offensive.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about all the offensive parts that we witnessed in this movie?
In a few minutes, bitch.
Awesome.
Right.
The first one may be obvious. Comedy shortcomings in a Cosby comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will, a lot of people thought he was funny. This movie is nowhere near funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's probably 2 spots that I'll talk about in the catch-all where
Yeah.
I almost laughed.
There's a saving grace to this movie that I'm not going to mention to the catch-all, but it's not Bill Cosby. To make myself clear.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder if we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw out 2 in early clips since we have 2
Okay.
for the most offensive. This one's a real quick one, so pay attention because you might miss it. This one's called Hiya.
They don't. Oh shit. Maybe 3 months.
Why? Why did he have an Asian man scream Hiya and rip his clothes?
I thought that'd be your number 1, actually.
Oh, really? Like the most offensive?
Yeah.
You're in for a treat then a little later. But I read into things, so we'll see if you know what I'm getting at later. Number 3, Leonard leaving without letting his little one loose from a lasso. He's desperate to save his wife, so he leaves the backstage area of the place where his daughter was performing, and the entire cast is tied up. The bad guys tied them up, and he just leaves. Everyone is still tied up when he goes. Which
Yeah, we don't know that, but at the same time, you assume that.
I do assume that because that's funny.
Yeah,
indeed.
Number 4. I don't know. Bear with me here. Lobster Cosby crotch. So there's like a whole bunch of lobsters going to attack Cosby and his wife, Parker, and ex Mrs. Parker. I think that maybe they're still married because he calls.
I think they're separated. It never made it clear though. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, as the lobsters are attacking, you get the idea that Cosby's worried about his penis because it goes back to his crotch, and we just get a nice tight angle on Cosby's lap, which we don't need. I never want to think about that area and Bill Cosby together.
No.
I only have two more before I ask you for mentions, because this was like a goofy comedy and wasn't super offensive to me. But number 5, overburdening ostriches.
Yeah.
That poor ostrich at the end is going to end up with major spinal issues. I don't think you can ride an ostrich like that.
No,
I don't think so either.
You can only ride ostriches if you're otters from the future.
Yes. South Park bingo. Hit your South Park bingo card now. And number 6, Bob, this is definitely the most offensive to me, and like I said, I read into this one, so we'll see if you agree. This is a clip called Birch Leaves.
7 years. You've just got to stop being so hard on yourself. I have not been with a woman since Mrs. Parker left me. Almost forgotten what it's like to be with her. Out because of one silly mistake. Terrible punishment, sir. Even if the girl was only 19. Didn't do anything.
But to be fair, sir, Mrs. Parker did find the two of you naked in the sauna switching each other with birch leaves.
I never laid a finger on that girl.
No, sir, just the birch leaves.
Oh, how familiar. Was he projecting here?
Life imitates art. Art imitates life.
He had to be.
It's a never-ending cycle of appalling situations.
It's so awful. So awful. Need I say more? I think not. Do you guys want to mention anything else?
I'm sure we'll uncover it throughout the rest of this episode.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Let's throw it to test number 4, to the worst dialogue.
Do you like what you see? Would you like to touch what you see? Would you like to go out with me? Would you like to fuck me?
Just the worst dialogue.
Well said, Bob. It really, really is. Samurai Cop. If you want to check out that episode, it's the last bad movie we did of last season.
That was our 100th episode, yeah.
Yeah, 100th episode.
Yep.
What an episode, too. I highly suggest you go into our archives and check out what you want, but head over to Samurai Cop as well. And email us.
www.theworstmovieevermade.com.
Yeah. Gently caress the subscribe button on YouTube as well, if you don't mind.
Hit that bell in the corner.
Now that we've got all our plugs out of the way, let's throw it to some clips. I'm glad we speeded into this one because it's going to take a minute to get through this test. Not that that's a bad thing, because there is humor to be had. Number 5. I almost said it. Disclosed.
It has never previously been disclosed that Mikhail Baryshnikov's defection to the West owed a great deal to the efforts of Mr. Parker, who had worked undercover with the Bolshoi Ballet in Moscow for over 3 years. At this critical moment, this experience was to prove more effective than his firepower.
So, in that clip, he is ballerina dance fighting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Barely fighting.
Men in chicken costumes, if I'm...
Vegetarians in chicken costumes, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, just there's a little sample of how unfunny this movie is.
Yeah.
It's just awful. But here's some more with number...
Thor! Yarg!
Explode.
Hello?
Allison? Listen, I wanted to talk to you about this situation with Joan and this Sergio, well, whatever his name is. This acting, and I miss you. And I'm loving the memory. I'm going to explode or jump off of a building.
Leonard, dinner here tomorrow night at 9.
Don't toy with me now. Don't kid me.
Tomorrow night at 9.
What was that?
Desire, Chris.
Is that?
Hey.
I mean, does he mean explode like I'm gonna kill myself? I miss you so much, or does he mean that romantic explosion wise, or does he mean I'm going on a dangerous mission? I don't understand at all what he means. And then he says he's gonna jump off a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best way to
I-
win someone back is just to threaten to kill yourself.
Yes, that always works. That always
Yes.
works.
That's
For you
that should-
14-year-olds out there.
That's not
that
a red
should almost-
flag.
that should almost make most offensive for that reason.
Seriously. Well, is that what he means? I don't even know if that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. Well, here's where it gets really awful. Number 3. Molybdenum. I'm gonna say molybdenum. Chromium catalyst.
So, you thought you could fool Medusa Johnson by putting dishwashing liquid into my spear. So, that was what was in it in the first place, you restaurant spaz. It's not the liquid that makes the magic. It's the molybdenum chromium catalyst. I could put yoo-hoo in this thing and it would work. And you call yourself a college graduate.
Ugh.
I mean, that was a
Yeah.
tricky trick of her to play. I mean, that would have fooled anybody. No?
If it was based in reality at all, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a contention for this very clip, but I don't want to bring it up until the catch-all. I just think that the molybdenum is a chromium catalyst is a way of throwing scientific-sounding jargon out there, but molybdenum I think is not. It's supposed to sound like an element, one that you can corrupt to manipulate people because it's molybdenum.
And
Is that right?
yeah, and I think this is the through line with a lot of the 80s movies we do, where I don't think filmmakers had the foresight to know that we would be able to look anything up at a moment's notice after watching a film or during watching a film. And
True.
I feel like because of that, we're not allowed to enjoy things, but I'd say by virtue of this movie just being what it is on its own accord is keeping us from enjoying it as well.
Yeah, we were not destined to enjoy any moment of this movie anyway.
No, we know Chris hates junk science.
I absolutely hate it. Speaking of junk, a lot of junk in the RV trunk of the lady featured in our next. What a dumb segue. Anyway, number 2. This is Spanky.
Wilkinska. Michael is Rickamolk. Whiskin, Vlevka, Vorka, Congresskin, Kuriska, Blink. Thanksgiving on Bunchkin, Davy. Kilkankin. Vilkurganika. Once, Whiskin, and Blabla, going to get on. Blankurska, Riddle. Deviton, Junska Didi, Mr. Dilchenson, Spanky, Njonski. It's gonna get a harka. Orkies, Grega, Urk, Bilchutka, Wirm, Thirsk.
So like that was the annoying bit that the kind of weird girl in 7th grade used to do. The like I'm speaking a different language, making it up on the spot improv, and this woman is no better at it.
Yeah, the only good example I've ever seen of that, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Slums of Beverly Hills, where the girls have their own line of gibberish. Their father is the same guy who played the grandpa in Little Miss Sunshine. If you want an idea of what kind of film it is, it's really weird, but it's really funny.
Well, it's funny because I have an Eastern European wife. I mean, technically she's American, but she's like 3rd generation Eastern European, and I know the Eastern European term for spanky, and it's not spanky, so it made me upset.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that woman supposed to be speaking some kind of established language, or is she just?
I think it was like Russian or Serbian or Bulgarian or something Eastern European.
Okay.
But really, they just told her to improv the lines. because that's
just
what
based on the way certain words ended, like a lot of she's and a lot of like just Russian type stuff.
Yeah. I think it was only spanky so that we knew what she was threatening the kids with.
Yes, exactly.
But wouldn't it have been funnier if she had said a word that didn't make sense to us and the kids were all of a sudden like, I think they could have done more work there.
There was nothing funny about this movie, so screw that.
That's what we call thinking things through, Chris. And this film does not really excel in that department.
Let's give them a shining example of that with number
1, Daddy.
I hate it.
You know what? Fuck it.
Melted butter.
Melted butter?
Melted butter.
Melted butter. Yes! Melted butter! And if you don't cut the wires, I'm gonna thermidor you! Melted butter! Boom! Melted butter. Boom! Melted butter!
Melted butter. Melted butter. Melted butter.
Melted
Armadillo's awaiting activation. Rats massing in downtown sewer.
Yeah, I saw this like a 12-year-old, and that's the one scene I remember like distinctly, and I'm like, this is not going to age well at all.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's almost not worth saying that the lobsters clearly wouldn't be threatened by melted butter, having no idea what fate might befall them.
Because lobsters are not
sentient. Fair point. I don't know. I guess that was that was a comedy line. I'm fairly certain that their attempt there was to make us laugh. But they, even if they had said it once and not 100 times, it wouldn't have been funny. But they do say it 100 times and just
they do it
beat
so
you
many
over
times.
the head. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Absolutely detestable movie. Rob, how about your ad read?
Sure.
Hi, kids. It's me, Ronald McDonald, and I'm on the set of my very first motion picture ever. It's a movie called Mac and Me, and it stars my little friend from outer space here. His name is Mac, and I want to introduce you to him. Mac?
Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by Law & Order Bill Cosby Victims Unit. With the statute of limitations requirement no longer in effect in many states when considering civil suit filing for sexual assault victims, the man behind America's Dad, the voices, and all that other stuff faces the music one junkyard tuba at a time. Follow Detective Stabler, Benson, and Tutuola as they breeze past the forensic lab because they know for certain that the proof is in the pudding. Law & Order Bill Cosby Victims Unit. Zip Zops will be in lockdown by Zubity.
The proof is in the pudding. Dude. Beautifully written. Just beautiful.
So great. So great.
Test number 5, the worst production.
This was me, right? Did I do worst production?
I think so.
I think you'll get the reference, Chris, and Bob, you might. The Worst Movie Ever Made presents the worst production.
You can't even draw stick figures. Your cartoons aren't even funny enough to be on the Family Channel. You stink.
Hey guys, just came by to pick up the finished film.
That was Rocco's Modern Life, right?
Yeah, Wacky Deli.
Yeah, Wacky Deli.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
I'll
research.
I'll throw it on the drive for you, Bob, because the best episode to ever come out of the 90s.
I have time coming up, so yes, I will watch. Cool. Worst production this week is easily bad writing.
Yes.
You can write that down and keep it written down. So this was written to be an action comedy.
Okay.
By a person, Bill Cosby, who doesn't know how to write an action comedy, and as far as I can tell, is only able to write stand-up and sitcoms really well.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. When you're as popular as Bill Cosby was in the mid 1980s, especially 1987, like that was like the peak of his like popularity. He could do no wrong. Nobody's going to tell you to no or stop, no matter how bad your idea or writing is. So that's the problem that happened is no one told him stop. No one told him no, except the director. The director actually said, sorry, like this isn't funny. This isn't working. And Cosby actually said back to him, let me worry about the funny. You just worry about the directing.
Wow.
And that's that's what happened.
I'm just surprised to hear that because Cosby disowned this movie shortly after its release, from what I understand.
He did. And thankfully that's not a fact or no fact, Chris, but thank you for researching anyway.
I'm just saying, like, for him to be like, it's going to be funny, you worry about directing, I'll worry about the comedy, and then immediately he's like, I don't know why it's not funny, and this movie sucks.
I guess after he saw the final edit, he like disowned it.
Oh, man. What a loser. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Test number 6. Go ahead.
I said seriously, yeah.
Yeah. Test number 6, the worst acting.
Not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Just the worst acting.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's so much of the room. Bob, when you put the room up for the poll, I was like, that just sounds like it's going to be really boring. And because I didn't know much about it. And the amount of material we've gotten off of that movie, I'm so glad we did it.
It's defining our lives. Like 20
it really
years.
is. Yeah. It is.
Well, it defines this pod, right?
Yeah.
It really it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Number 1, dinner.
Thank you, Duchamp, but I'll serve supper. And Duchamp, Mr. Parker and I do not wish to be disturbed.
Yes, Mom.
I know that's a short clip. You're probably going to have to go to YouTube to understand why it's so bad. Mrs. Parker is so flat and awful that I think it will not surprise me. I'm not saying that this is a fact or not a fact, but it will not surprise me if, in fact or no fact, it comes out that she is not an actress. Because she is fucking terrible.
It's not, but I agree with you.
Thank you. Number 2. Shower.
Well, what do you think, Daddy?
Oh, it's beautiful, dear. Hooray!
Daddy, you're not reading them, I can tell. Let me hear you.
Whoa! It's beautiful.
Dad? Dad?
Alone among the actors on stage, Razizi Brachuga Shahidok. Parker gives a soulful, shattering, gut-wrench performance.
You okay, Daddy?
Yeah, taking a shower. The water's hot.
Okay, Dad.
Got it.
Platinum, sir.
The offensive will...
Okay. Yeah, well, the daughter is actually worse than Cosby there. She is supposed to react in the hallway to his sounds and does so late that it's not realistic. But also what is happening there, if you're not in our YouTube audience, is Cosby is Parker, I'm supposed to use the character name, is pulling a bullet out of his shoulder with a knife. Yeah. And he had just had an entire liter of whiskey, and that's what he thinks that would sound like.
Yeah. He was using a bread knife too, which was kind of weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. And his voice slurred when he first got the knife, and then didn't slur when he read the article.
Yeah, exactly. So somehow he was able to pull it together, even though he just had a fifth of whatever bourbon.
Yeah.
And he's got a knife in his shoulder, and he's reading the article to his daughter to her satisfaction.
Yeah,
exactly.
But also, he's in a room with no shower. His daughter knows that, and his assistant's in there with him, and I assume she knows that as well.
Yeah.
So none of that made any sense, and the sounds that he made are funny for the wrong reasons. Let's throw to our last clip of the day, which is number 3. One is possums.
Ugh.
Leonard Parker, if you don't get the spear and save the world and stop Medusa, you can forget about ever seeing me again.
If I save the world, will you move back in with me?
You save the world, and I'll think about it.
All right. Let's go save the world.
Countdown continues. All personnel to their stations. All personnel to their stations.
Unbelievable.
Caterpillars on the march in Sacramento. Possums in Piedmont awaiting orders.
Yes. Yeah.
Fact or no fact?
Sure.
Fact or no fact?
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Was that hard to kill?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, with Steven Seagal. Take it to the bank. In fact or no fact, Bob? Go for it.
Good stuff. I love it. All right. So I called this one Leonard sucks dicks because
Part 6, yeah.
it worked. All right. So this was a tough one because Cosby really didn't want this movie to be seen. So he hid a lot of facts, but I was able to dig up enough.
Nice.
To make 4 facts and 1 lie that you have to find the lie among the facts. And I honestly think this game is harder than it used to be.
So you're saying that you're playing the role of Cosby's legal team in this segment.
Rob, just keep those coming, dude. All podcasts, please.
That's exactly right. Okay, so out of these 5 lines of dialogue, I'm going to read. One of them is false. See if you can figure it out. Okay, the first one. The story was inspired by the movie Rambo. That's the first one.
Okay.
Second one. This movie won Razzies, like for worst movie, and Cosby demanded that the Razzie Award be made of 24 karat solid gold, and it was. Okay, third one. Steve Martin was originally cast as the butler, but couldn't make his schedule work. Okay, fourth. Speaking of the butler actor was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for earlier movies. And lastly, the Giorgio actor, Moses Gunn is his name, was nominated for an Emmy for his role in Roots.
Okay. We gotta find one lie. I think I know what the lie is. I think I'm gonna eliminate them real quick. Razzies, there's no doubt, because Razzies went on since like the 70s, I think, right? So it's not like,
yeah.
It seems like if he did win one, he would want them to do something ridiculous. And he said 24 karat solid gold. So that's on my I'm seeing that as a fact right now. I could see Steve Martin being originally cast as the butler and saying that it was because of scheduling issues, but the truth is he just read the script and said no. So there might be some Bob foolery there. The guy who's playing the actual butler was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for earlier movies, and that's in line with the Giorgio thing being nominated for an Emmy in Roots. I have not seen Roots, and I don't know, like, I'm not really good with names and actors, unless I see them a lot, and I haven't seen a lot of these guys. So I believe those to be, there's a kernel of truth in those, but what I don't believe is that this story was inspired by Rambo, because Rambo has PTSD, it has like a rampage, it has endless guns being fired. It did not have a fucking demented-looking car with a tank turret affixed to the roof of it. So I'm gonna say the lie is that the movie was inspired by Rambo because I can't make the connection, whereas the other stuff sounds somewhat plausible.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I almost want to double down on that, but in the interest of having a chance at winning,
Yeah.
I think it won Razzies. I think The Butler was maybe one of the better elements of the movie actor-wise, so I could believe it. I think Giorgio, the actor, I've seen him before, so I believe that he would be in Roots. Steve Martin is the other one I'm not so sure about. So I'm going to go with number 3. Steve Martin was originally cast but had scheduling conflicts.
Okay, so Rob, I'm sorry. The movie was inspired by the movie
What
Rambo.
the fuck?
Oh. Okay.
In
Bill
what
Cosby
way?
actually said, "What if the hero was facing people that were armed as much as he was?" Because I guess he considered Rambo to be a heavily armed, everyone else wasn't. Anyway,
It's inspired by Rambo the same way that Battlefield Earth was inspired by Schindler's List.
probably. But this came a direct quote from Cosby, so I'm gonna say that's a fact.
Wow.
Both actors that I mentioned were nominated for the mentioned awards.
That tracks.
So,
Okay, so 4 and 5 are true.
Chris, you may have won, and you
Huh?
did.
Yeah!
You did win. I made that up.
Thank you,
Steve
Rob,
Martin.
for going with story inspired by Rambo. Woo!
Yeah.
When I win, soul, just alone, just me, win, W. Woohoo!
That's a real win.
Everybody.
Cosby did demand his
real
Razzie
win.
Award was made of 24 karat solid gold. It cost Fox Network like $27,000 to make his award.
No way.
Not knowing now what we know about Bill Cosby, but like not knowing it back then, I would say good for him because that's fucking hilarious. That's something I would do if something I worked really hard on was critically panned. I'd find a way to make it like to get some sort of spite squeeze out of it, and that's a brilliant move, I have to say.
Yeah, he like took it on talk shows and stuff like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Just use it as a doorstop in like your drawing room, you know.
So
Used
Chris,
it as a club
kudos
on
to
women.
you, man. You did it.
Well, thank you. You know what? I know I win on this show more than anybody else, so I really shouldn't. I should try to be humble here, but it's been a while since either one of us has had a legit win on Fact or No Fact. So I'm gonna take this moment to do a victory lap and thank you. I'm just gonna stew in it for a minute before I throw it to the catch-all. Feels real good. Okay, the catch-all.
Time to have a little bit of fun with the catch-all. We're gonna get our little nets. We're gonna prance around like SpongeBob catching the jellyfish, and we're gonna catch every darn little thing that we want to. Doesn't that sound like fun?
A little in
Dude,
excess
that was
there.
beautiful.
I know you guys hate the 80s, so I had to throw in at least one tune.
I was gonna
I
say,
want to say it was officially 90, but I could be wrong.
Oh, you might be right. But Chris, you'll be pleased to know that Michael Hutchins died through means of autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yes, he did.
he deserves it for that. Yeah. I was going to say that music like that is some of my least favorite. Like the very end of Leonard Part 6 is like this romantic, like pre-R&B song where it's like, and I just can't live without you. And it's like saxophone. It's just the most pointless. Like, why are we writing songs?
Yeah, and
like
that
this,
singer went way too hard on the vibrato in his vocal delivery.
Yeah, they have a tendency. Yeah, I mean they think that it's going to add to how impactful the song is and escalate it up the radio,
I guess,
billboards or whatever. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? I also hate front loaded credits. Like, why are you gonna make me watch them in the beginning if I have to watch them at the end?
Is that the product of just like the time the movie came from? Because a lot of movies from like the 50s, 60s, and like earlier did the whole credit.
one that I think of is Christmas Vacation, and while the song is fun, I don't want to have to read all the names, especially on this podcast, because I have to read them at the end too. So
I want to say that changed. I forget what movie it was. It might have been Star Wars, where they
Because
said
the title screen, yeah.
like they didn't have to like do front loader credits, and then it became like an option. Like, what do you want to do?
Okay.
yeah, well, thank you, Star Wars, again for that. Produced by Cosby, co-written by Cosby. We had mentioned that already. This is kind of the Room problem, not to mention again. But if you have only yes men producing the movie with you, here's what you get. Killer Fish stops to look at a Playboy. How funny is that? I'm going to mention specific jokes along the way here.
So bad.
Yep.
Why does a Killer Fish have any interest in the Playboy magazine? His pool connects to the ocean. The guy in the beginning that gets murdered by the assaulting rainbow trout.
That's the entire trailer right there. Pipe logic.
Yeah, what the fuck? It connects to the ocean. That's the most disgusting pool I can imagine. Then.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had your
garbage littered inside?
In it, including a Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
The kitchen shooting scene, like the comedic coincidences thing where like the cooks are using the oil that
that was so bad. I'm sure you of all people had an issue with that.
You know what?
Well,
go ahead. You go first.
When the assassin comes in and shoots the bullet, and they do the like turning to watch the bullet thing, like how slow is a bullet that you're just like watching it bounce off of everything? You know what I mean? Like this. Can you give me a fucking break? And then the guy, of course, gets hit in the back of the head and falls into like the lobster tank or whatever. It's just completely the whole scene is just atrocious.
Speaking of Jerry Lewis, though, and even like Charlie Chaplin, I could see that kind of bit landing in like the black and white and or silent movie era.
It would have been it would have been done better. Yeah,
where actual talented actors were pantomiming that kind of thing.
Yeah,
even the slapstick black and white era had a touch of realism compared to this.
Very true.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess just going completely over the top like that. I think they thought that the humor would come from how ridiculous it is, but it doesn't. Cosby hugging a young, attractive woman has me cringing about 10 minutes into the movie. Coke and lava. You guys remember, like, I think lava candy, I think it was? It's L-A-V-A.
Lava soap.
And like, in soap. Oh, it's in soap.
Lava is Spanish for wash.
Oh, okay. So I don't know why, but I think it was lava that was placed all over the backstage area of where the play happened.
Yeah, that was lava soap. That was product placement.
Just because. Just because. Okay.
Yeah.
Lava soap. So yeah, the Coca-Cola placement. By the way, Cosby was currently a spokesperson for Coca-Cola when this movie came out, and so he decided to cross promote. And I want to say Coke wasn't very happy with it.
And like the way he held the bottle with like two fingers and like tilted the logo as he drank it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so egregious.
Exactly.
The secret agent writing gribbet on the pad as he was about to be attacked by frogs also really bothered me.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, the fucking frog attack, just gross. It just pissed me off.
Yeah.
You know why? Because having your car submerged in water is not a death sentence, especially when your window's already open, which his was.
Right.
Very true.
Right.
Shirtless Cosby. I just wrote that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that led me to think that he always had an old guy's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just one of those people where he was like 26 and he looked like he was 60. And
yeah, same with like
looks the same now.
Like Clint Eastwood's another one. Like you turn 30 and all of a sudden you're 50 and then you stay 50 until you're 90.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
A can't get it up joke from the exercise woman on his TV. Also terribly unfunny.
Jane Fonda, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How rich Leonard is not funny. Except Rob,
Mhm.
what did you mention over text? I want you to get that one in.
Both the butler and the voiceovers from the butler were the only saving grace in this
Okay,
movie.
the nozzle on the shower.
Oh, the Perrier.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't step on another part of your segment, but I think the
Well,
butler.
no, I was queuing you up because I mean it was your point, but when you said it, when you texted it to us, I was like, yeah, that was kind of funny. I just don't want to give it any credit, you know.
Yeah.
Extremely long montages and a battle preparation sequence because it isn't a feature length film.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the biggest montage was his getting ready for his date was offensive, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I would venture a guess of a solid 8-minute montage for that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't end well for him, which I guess is the joke that he put all that work into it, but whatever. Knockoff Nutcracker music, I guess you can get away with that. It just kind of
I guess so.
Bugs me. Cosby is a sweaty pervert, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thought I'd throw that in there too. Terrible rocket car motion CGI. It wasn't exactly fast forward, but it almost looked like claymation, which it wasn't. So I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but there was some really bad stuff in there.
It must have been fast forward a little bit.
I guess, yeah. Medusa is the Oracle from the first Matrix movie, which I love, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
She is.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I recognized her. Zebras and anteaters in the budget. What's a zebra gonna? What are you gonna have a zebra do?
Yeah.
You know.
Very good point.
Secret agent. Leonard never had to battle any animals minus the lobsters, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, he just subdued them with butter.
Yeah, melted butter. I just thought it was kind of crazy that the main villain can direct animals to do whatever she wants, and she doesn't use them to attack.
The
protagonist. So, the abrupt end of the play that his daughter is involved in makes no sense, and it ends with his daughter naked. Ha ha ha! That's supposed to be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really ends at a point that makes absolutely no sense, and it's just that she's naked.
And that she's naked in the curtain call. That makes 0 sense.
Yeah. It's.
I really wish Bill Cosby didn't do all the things he did, because it'd be a lot more fun to make fun of this movie.
True. I don't know. I'm getting a little joy out of it.
I'm getting joy out of it too, but I feel like it's at the expense of others in a way that I don't want to be at their expense.
Well, yeah. All right, so 3 people hit their head on the same pipe. That's also super funny, right, guys? Different kind of pipe logic, but yeah, that's always really funny when it doesn't look at all like they're actually hitting their heads, but there's like a boing sound.
Because they hit a crap lousy ceiling.
Crap lousy ceiling. Yeah, that is perfect. No security for the new location of the sphere that threatens America.
Yeah.
Leonard and his butler just walk right in.
Yep.
They fixed the cannon on the Lambo or whatever. Or more likely, they just shot the scene before they destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is too obvious and makes you upset. Or me, anyway. The super weird and lame magic passenger switcheroo also really bothered me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the butler in the passenger seat of the car, and then it's the fortune teller.
Yeah.
The Eastern European fortune teller.
Yeah.
And then they switch again, only it's both of them are by the side of the road by some magical means, so that Leonard can go fight crime by himself or whatever. I don't know. It's really stupid. There's a very obvious 0-hour trope, but what's really funny about it is what happens. This is the crux of the movie, but what happens if the time runs out?
I was under the impression that animals would like run amok, like chew through the power grid, like drown people, stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't ever name specifics. So
yeah,
it bothered me that I didn't know what was at stake for the 0 hour trope that they were trying to make me feel tense about, you know?
Can I tell you something real quick? I was thinking
Yeah.
about what the 0 hour would be, and we have a segment coming up where I do Marvel movies, and I watched them both back to back very late the other night, and I was confusing the Winter Soldier with Leonard Part 6 just now.
Main characters would never get imprisoned together, and this happens all the time in movies.
Yeah.
It's another trope of sorts.
Right.
They wouldn't even be in the same jail. They'd be in like different counties or different states.
Yeah. And if it is the villain's lair you're being imprisoned in, they also wouldn't lock you in the same chamber so that you can have a conversation about how to escape.
Yeah.
Why does he need to destroy the silos? This is the thing I was saying I was going to come back to, but why does he need to destroy the silos of liquid if they are indeed just soap?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And why does she have giant vats of liquid soap?
I think that's actually something. I think that's that chemical she referred to. It wasn't the soap.
Oh, the molybdenum chromium catalyst.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, because I guess, but so in the sphere there was soap, right? That was the joke. Was like
Right.
It was soap the whole time, and there's 3 different colors. It's like red, green, and blue. And then the silos are those colors exactly. So I assume that those were just giant silos of soap.
Right.
And he destroys them. The cop says, "Step back! The building's going to explode." So he pushes them like 2 feet further back from the exploding building. Being covered in food is also freshman humor, I wrote.
Yeah.
And that was the big crescendo, was that his wife takes him back, but under the pretense that she gets to cover him in soup and spaghetti and cake and things of this nature. Not at all funny.
Boiling
Nothing
hot,
about this movie was...
boiling hot soup on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
I mean, he may deserve this in actuality, but
that's the only way he can get out these days, aside from hitting himself in the balls with a wrench.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. You guys want to mention anything else?
A little C&B torture. Just going back to the butler. I have a penchant for when what's being spoken as the narration does not match what's happening. And there's one scene where I actually chortled out loud where he's like, I let him be alone with his thoughts during the long, agonizing drive. they pull over next door.
Like he got his wife a house right down the street.
Yeah. So little things like that make me laugh all the time. Like it's like airplane humor. It's just it's just what you're hearing, what you're not seeing, and it's just built-in humor for me.
Yeah, but I wish I hadn't seen that coming. I totally saw that coming.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to write down, but I did actually think was kind of funny. I had said that there were a couple. Here's the other one. Was the villain in the wheelchair that just kept, like, the only line of dialogue he had like 8 times was "kill him," which was funny because had they just done that, they would have won.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, if they just listened to his advice instead of stringing him along. Anyway, if there is nothing else to mention, we'll throw it to Rob's Magic Marvel Corner.
All right.
Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Rob's Magic Movie Corner.
I want to say I didn't listen to these ahead of time, but I did suspect it because the original file name it showed the Marvel thing in Google Drive. But when I downloaded it, it was just like license-free farts or something was the file name.
Yes.
Can that go in the write-up?
Royalty-free farts?
Yeah.
Got it. like Shutterstock, but just for flatulence.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so proud of that.
That was great. That was really, really, really nice.
So I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes, you
Felt
did.
pretty good about it. I texted you guys when I started it because I didn't want to watch another Captain America, but then
Right.
I changed my opinion like about halfway through. It's pretty good. So I'll take questions.
I did think that the second Captain America is one of the better MCU movies.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start, and now this is a null and void question. But was this any better than the piece of trash first Captain America movie?
Yes, and do you want a reason why? Can I just say right off the rip?
Sure.
Very strong prominence of Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury from the Shield agency. He carries the first and second act like until he like fakes his own death or all that stuff. But like
yeah,
it's just Samuel L. Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson. You can't not like it. Like, you could just insert a motherfucker in between every line and it'll work.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Do you envy the Winter Soldier's ability to forget everything when he needs to? I wrote, which is obviously not what happens, but
yeah. Could you? I mean, I kind of do because like he's able to perform like unspeakable acts and then just like kind of go about his life, which is like that's kind of nice. It's but you mentioned it now. It's like it'd be funny if it were like the movie Memento, where he like takes his shirt off and he just got like a bunch of backwards tattoos like scrawled into his skin with ballpoint pen, so you can remember. He's like Captain America. I gotta get Captain America. So yeah, I'm not envious, but I think it's pretty cool.
I wrote these questions before I knew you liked it. So
okay.
My second question is this the turning back point where you decide not to watch any more Marvel movies?
No, Chris could attest to this because he's known me for longer. I tend to commit to the bit, whether or not I even enjoy it anymore. So, because I feel like there's a certain level of running things into the ground past the point of not being funny. It eventually comes back. So,
okay,
I'm committed.
That is true. I know that for sure. Was this one of the cooler Marvel movies so far?
Specifically at this point in time, this is I've got a spreadsheet, but I think this is like the 9th Marvel movie we've done.
Yeah.
And the only one I consider it to be second place to is the Avengers, just because the coordination, because it had Samuel L. Jackson being Nick Fury. But I think just Captain America followed just like Black Widow and Steven Johnson. And it was cool, but like it was cooler when there was like 6 people doing that shit. So I think the Avengers is a cut above, but I really enjoyed Captain America. Now that his character's been established and they know how to do the whole like rah like go America thing, it's a lot cooler.
I thought it was cool. It's dark. So.
Yeah, I didn't see this one. So if you were Captain America, would you turn the shield on yourself?
I mean, I don't have to be Captain America to ever entertain that thought. Like, if I go to the deli and ask for like my cold cuts like thin and it's like slightly thicker than I want, like I think about ending it all like immediately and without hesitation. So if I had that kind of power, I just would not be here.
Okay, that's the exact answer I wanted. Go ahead.
You can send your letters of support to www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Shoot us an email.
Okay, well, here comes the one. There's always one of the 3 that I do that makes you feel like I am a serious movie critic. So,
okay,
I'm gonna fire away with this one. Does Winter Soldier possess the finesse to give himself a stranger without Little Soldier detachment?
Ooh, with the metal arm or his flash hand?
Yeah, his metal arm. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Now that we bring up the topic of his amnesia,
yes.
I think it's kind of a moot point because if he rips his dick off, he's gonna get rushed back to like whoever's servicing him and like reattach it. So it's kind of like that Men in Black treatment where it's like he just gets his dick ripped off. Like, what's the Greek myth when the guy's like on the rock getting his liver eaten out by gulls every day, but his liver grows back? It's like that, but with his dick.
Oh gosh. Well, Bob, in case you don't know, the Winter Soldier has like a metal like robotic arm for his non-dominant arm. So I was thinking, like, if he can't if he was to masturbate with that arm instead, would it be like an automatic strain? Like he wouldn't have to sit on his hand for a half an hour or whatever to make it completely numb. He could just go with it. But then if you can't feel what you're doing with it, is he in danger? But
So the
he's
Winter
like
Soldier-
superhuman, so maybe he has the finesse to
So is the Winter
make it
Soldier
workable.
not Captain America?
No, it is not.
It's somebody who's equally matched, and I looked it up. It's Prometheus, not Perseus, who got his liver eaten. So it's like Prometheus, but with his dick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the Winter Soldier is kind of a complicated villain from Captain America's past, who is having his brain repeatedly washed after mission after mission by basically Russian intelligence. That's what it's supposed to be, but it's like the bad guy Russians, basically.
So he's equally matched to Captain America, and they have a similar upbringing. And I don't think they go into the origin, but he probably had similar experiments done on him. But he's a perfect soldier because he gets his slate wiped clean after every like series of kills.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is why it's dark, because they actually show him like coming back and like having that moral fiber moment where he starting to feel a little bit bad about what he's doing, and then they just are like, okay, it's time to wipe him clean again.
Yeah.
And then they do some like torturous thing where he and then he comes back out not knowing like what the fuck happened. So
yeah, so
which
he
is
occasionally becomes
sentient. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why I liked it, because the concept is cool, which probably came from a comic book, not the movie, but they did it well. All right, back credit names.
And you're the biggest liar of them all. I am warning you. You tell me another and I'll rescue myself. That is a promise, Miss
Rose, Sister Rose.
Of course. Another plant, Rose.
Bad credit names.
Yes.
What's that from? What's the Rose line from?
The Wicker Man.
Oh, okay.
You know how everybody on the island has a plant for a last name?
Chrysanthemum, and yeah.
Yeah. So Nick Cage's character gets all pissed off when she says Rose. He's like, oh, of course, another plant. Rose.
Yeah.
I just was searching my brain for some like names appropriate clip to pull, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Chitty Sukvamdi.
Okay.
Babatunde.
All right.
Why is that one familiar? Babatunde.
Bubba Gump.
I feel like it's a fucking pharaoh, an Egyptian pharaoh or something.
Oh, Emotep? No, Bubba Hotep. Bill Campbell, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. That's probably
Bill Campbell. Let's go.
Moses Gunn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rich Clot.
Okay.
Which the last name's not great, but you can play around with that one a little bit. You don't have to play around with this one. Keith Joe Dick.
Keith Joe
and
Dick.
then the winner for me, because it's not really a dick joke, and dick jokes always win this segment, is Peebo Bryson.
Peebo?
Peebo, yeah, Peabo, Peebo Bryson. Is that a guy or a girl? I don't even know.
Sounds like a really shitty like gastropub burger name, because they have like the wacky names on their menus.
Yeah,
you want to
I'm
get
gonna
like,
go
the
with the
Bryson
Peebo
burger.
Bryson, but can you add avocado to that, please?
Yeah.
All right, let's get the movie results. We're not going to call it a movie comparison, but let's throw it there.
You want to play the bumper?
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to compare the movies.
I love how much use you get out of the kazoo on this podcast.
Yes.
Seriously?
You're professional kazoo.
I've ever had.
It's wonderful. Okay, negative 58.4 in the worst. That is a hell of a score. A team win, a 5-star. It's going to be really tough to beat Leonard Part 6 when it comes out so strong in the first two. I don't know. Do you guys want to write a word for how offensive it is? Mildly?
Can we do it
tough
in?
because we know so much about Bill Cosby, so I feel like it's
Yeah.
moderately, but mildly probably makes sense for the movie itself.
Do you want to make it moderately or mildly offensive?
Okay, if we were
Jello.
ranking this based on offensiveness of Jello pudding flavors, I would put it in tapioca.
Tapioca. I don't know. Okay, tapioca. I don't know how to fucking spell
That made
but
so
no one
little
else.
sense.
It's tapioca's offensive. It's got those bumps in it. It's like
yeah,
boba tea, but like it's pudding and it doesn't have like a real flavor. It's just like lumps.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Whatever.
So.
Yeah.
I'm just a cog in the machine. That's all I am.
Just work here.
Just a cog in the machine. Dialogue. How bad is the dialogue, guys?
Oh, it's pretty bad.
It's bad, but we've seen much worse.
Without comparing it, I'm
point.
gonna.
Yeah.
What do we put a number on it? I'd say like in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like it's these, at least some people in this movie know how to deliver lines. An industry term when it comes to like audio production is like, in regard to like the source materials, like and like making it sound good, is you could polish a turd all you want, but it's still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So you had some people polishing the turd, but it's you can only do so much.
It is a piece of shit. Production.
Writing was the bad production. Don't forget.
Yeah. Yes, the production literally written bad writing. So we're gonna go with that. The acting is I don't know, subpar, I guess.
The word
it doesn't really matter because we're just gonna be comparing them side by side. So.
Yeah. I would call it questionable.
Questionable. Yeah.
Questionable. And how about demerits? You guys want to throw anything in there?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Okay. Anyway, let's play the bumper for the offensive minigame just so we can give them the flavor.
I can kill you now, or I can relieve you of this gift. This black gift.
The not so mini offensive mini game.
I love how without discussing with each other on this, we all use source material from the previous season.
Yeah, hell yeah, we did.
We finally hit that stride where like every movie was just fucking awful.
Just so bad.
And really funny on its own.
Yep.
All right, so the worst movie of the season. The worst of the season, bitch, is Leonard Part 6. Next week, and we're going to do a live look-in to see what wins the poll. We put up...
Oh, I looked in before the episode. Chris, you'll be happy.
Yeah. All right, we put up Blood Feast 2. We put up No Holds Barred, and we put up Nothing But Trouble. Nothing But Trouble did put up a fight. I'm afraid we're watching our first Hulk Hogan movie next week with No Holds Barred. And all I can remember about this is one line in particular that I don't know that I want to spoil for next week. So I'm going to leave that a cliffhanger. Another good episode. Check out the archives. Rob, where can they find Cliffhanger and other such episodes from our archives?
Well, before I say that, I think one of us should do a tally for how many times he says brother. But you can find us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. You can find our podcast streaming. You can find our YouTube episodes. You can find us on social media such as Instagram and TikTok. Bob makes trailers every week. Every week he makes a trailer. Every week, singular. And Chris and us throw up polls every week to decide what movie we're going to watch the following week. There's lots of interactive goodies. We're trying to throw some more clips up on our stories just to engage with you guys a little more. So one thing that I'm trying to spearhead personally is whenever we make a reference to something stupid when we're talking about the movie, I'm trying to just source some of that material so we can just like post it and be like, oh, we talk about this in this episode, and I sent you guys some riffraff stuff like that.
Yeah.
James Franco.
Maybe we can post some royalty-free farts on our or story.
Oh, yeah. So lots of goodies. And then you can also email us, and that's at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. What are your last words for the week, Bob?
Melted butter.
Mine are I one fact or no fact. Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Woohoo!
Swelling
So
with pride.
mine is I confused the Winter Soldier with Leonard Part 6 when you were talking about the 0 hour, and I was like, "What? Didn't they like say they're gonna be like 200 million lives at stake?" I was like, "No, that was the other movie." Anywho, see you guys next week.